All right. Morning, good afternoon, and evening. Doc here from North America. It's kind of curious in its own ways. We're looking at the dollar index as usual. We usually start off on the dollar index unless someone asks for something different. Good morning, Robin. Saw what came over yesterday. Thank you. Let's see what else we got to say about any of this. At this point, what it really comes down to is it's been a battle for the dollar to lift, and we keep on seeing it trying to lift. And you've seen the last like 5 days, it's been in a buy. 6 out of the last. I guess what it really is at two something like went into a buy back in here, right there on the 9th. Was it September 25th? There is September 25th. It went into the buy right there. Then it slipped into this. It didn't go into a sell. It just went, because we're a green dot. If that had been a red dot, that would have been a sell. And due to the fact it was a green dot, it's still on the buy, and then back above the zero line again, and green dot buy, and then drops below it, still in the buy, and it's been in a buy since the 25th. We've been watching this and thinking that's odd. When we got to there, we started to really think there is some strength coming in. You could see the fast algorithm on the weekly start off last week, down in here. Matter of fact, it was that day right there. The fast algorithm jumped across the zero line. The histogram hadn't gotten there yet, and then the green line started to lift with it towards the later part of the week. But it all started to move into that, and I kept on thinking, why are they buying dollars? I thought they're lowering rates. Everybody's excited. 0.5% lower, 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 lower. Interest rates are going to go down a quarter. They're going to go down another quarter. They're going to, keep on doing that over and over again. Why are they buying dollars? And I guess it's a combination of some type of geopolitical scare. I did see this morning where the Swiss is gaining a little bit against the dollar, whereas all the rest of them are falling against the dollar. Matter of fact, the yen seems to be basically flat against the dollar, whereas the euro and the British pound are falling against the dollar. And so it seems to be more of a flight to safety combination. I guess, we see now, let's see if we can put it up on the screen here. We'll go like this. You can see crude oil. Where's it at? Let's put it up on the other screen so we can stay focused on the other. You can see here's this is West Texas Intermediate. We're up in the 75.67 area now. It's come from basically, what is it? That is back on the 11th. It was down to basically it's $65. That was the low. I guess there's the low. 64.61. And it started to climb into the buy right there, and a couple of days later, and it started to get into weekly buys a week later. We don't have the algo on that, so let's just shift over to the other screen. I want to see where the fast was. So let's go over there and look at that. But they started, they knew that the more action geopolitically was coming, so I guess markets started to buy dollars for that reason more than the interest rate itself. But that's what we're seeing, and you see that strength. You see back in here, went into that buy 2 days later on the algorithm on the 12th. Same thing there. Let's just give that a recycle, and I think we can make this even look better. No, not like that. We want to go like this. Move it over like so, and then you can see here, doing that same thing, and pushing up in the buy, which was the 12th. Was it? That's the 13th. Where's the 13th? Right there. So went into the buy there, and then we had a little weakness with, they were like selling it back down, thinking, okay, things are not bad. You can see the fast didn't get going with it either. It was below the zero line. On the new algo, or the beta platform, you can see it started jumping up in the middle of the week, just like on the other platform, our old platform. But the fast algo on the weekly didn't get going until like the close of this week, or last week. I'm sorry. So it went into the buy there, and you can see how it was let me just go back over to it. On the old platform, you can see it was a flat line, totally, in many ways, confused. Wasn't sure if it was coming or going, constantly back and forth like that. Oop. So you see that. Let's see, do it like that. There we are. You see that right there. You see how? Oop, why is it today? This thing wants to move it around. Let's just go back to that again like that, and I'll do it with this mouse. So you can see right here this flat line going on. I mean, just flat, which is kind of rare. And then last week, it kicks up. It starts to do its thing, starts to get going. And boy, is it projecting, like strength around the corner. And in this case here, it was in a buy already. In this case over here on the beta, it, I think it read it more sensitively and correctly in many ways and jumped into the buy in the middle of the week there, going through the manifold. On the green line, showing lots of strength, and sure enough, it took off. And you can see where it's still taking off. And it seems to me, let me just go over to I want to show you the Swiss. Well, let's show you some of the currencies in general. And then we go back if we want. Let's see where we at. There's the beta. So let's get over to the old platform again. And right there. And then you can see, here's the Swiss. Well, there's the euro. See the euro gaining a little bit against the dollar now. This morning it wasn't doing that. It's still in the sell, still in the weekly sell for this is starting the third week. And we're seeing the same thing in the British pound, where last week it went into the sell and it's rolled over and it's been in the sell since here on the daily. And then we go and look at the Swiss. Swiss doing that same turn. Usually I'd like to see some more strength in the Swiss. And you can see it. It's definitely moving stronger than the other two products against the dollar. And you can see it's in the weekly buy. Last week, it's been pushing on both the fast and the slow. But I think it's more of a geopolitical thing. And usually I try to measure that geopolitical difference between that and interest rates by watching the Swiss, how it acts compared to the euro. Like, in other words, the Swiss euro or euro Swiss pairs trade or the British pound Swiss pairs trade. They kind of gives you that flavor that if it's more of a geopolitical thing, where they're more concerned like war and oil embargo problems, that type of thing. Just all that geopolitical stuff. So, and that's where we are. That is where we are. So, interest rates are rising. That's the thing. And that's the other weird part. We showed it last week. We keep on showing you the, let's see, which platform are we on now? Okay, so let's go here. I go there, and I can move it over to the platform there. There it is. You can see that right there. Again, we've done this a few days this last week, showing you that interest rates are rising. And it's like, wait a second, we were very coherent to the idea of, we were looking for this lower interest rate, not higher interest rate. One thing is for sure, you can see is that they're underneath the 5% now, since they've cut the half. The 2-month is up to 4.7, almost 4.8, and the 1 month is hanging out at the 4.86 area. And then here's your 30-year bond trading at 4.25, the 20 at 4 3/8, which is a little interesting there, and then it dips back down again to the 10-year at just a little above 4, whereas before they started cutting these interest rates, we were looking at a 3.7 10-year. So we've got the interest rate cut. We're in the track for interest rates to drop, and here we see they're selling bonds. Now that's usually, you would think a flight to safety, they would be buying bonds. So it keeps on, in other words, can we ask for any more odd cross currents going back and forth? I say no. You got the dollar. Let's see, do we have that there? Oh, that's right. I moved it off. That's right. But, the dollar is being bought. Interest rates are rising. Fed is lowering interest rates at the same time. And you can see, the currency pairs are weakening against the dollar at the same time. And then you have oil, roaring up. So talk about cross currents going in odd directions. It is, and that is what it's all about. Okay, so from there, There. Let's see which screen we have up there. There's the Swiss. So let's go back to, let's take a look at the dollar on the old platform too. There it is right there. You see just the weakening a little bit. And you see how it went into the buy right here on a daily, and we were surprised when it did. You know, since, geez, you know, I mean, that's what everybody was screaming about. They're going to cut rates, and if they're going to cut rates, then why aren't they going down? And you can see it's let's see, let's put the, where's it? Let's see, went into the buy here, stayed in the buy there, stayed in the buy there, stayed in a buy there. So basically, it's been in a buy since back here. I don't even have to put that in there. It went into the buy right there, and it's been the sloppiest. I mean, probably the average money manager probably was like, well, I'm selling dollars. You know, it's like, you know, interest rates are dropping, and you can see that odd situation we had where we go into the buy here. The next day it gives us a volatility signal, still in the buy because it's a green and a red. If it had been a red, we would have been in a sell. We're in a weekly sell, so I'm thinking to myself, you know, it's going to roll over. Then we start to see the strength the following week at the beginning of the week, and here we are again in the plus, and then here we go again. You know, it's underneath, it's a minus, but again, green and red. So the math is just saying no. As much as it makes sense that it should be going down, it won't go down. And the math keeps on trying to warn us it's not going down. And there we are. You get this jolt like that. Now, I don't expect to see like 106 or anything, but, you know, it is fascinating that how hard it's been for the dollar and the pairs trades in general to function in a market like this. That's why we do technical analysis. All right. Let's see. So from the dollar, we go back to the currencies, and you know we're looking at. Here's the cable. Those are currencies right there. There we go. So you know we saw the euro there. You know it's kind of basically just up a little bit against the dollar in a weekly sell, so forth and so on. We already looked at that, and then at the same time there, cable, the same situation. Having the downwardly pressure. Not much else can be said about that, but you know it is what it is. The markets are confused; they have no clear direction, and then obviously we see the sugar high from China. I mean that's going on. You know, I mean that's the other situation where. Just go over there real quick. No, not there. Yeah. Let's see. Now they didn't open up. I thought they were opening up last night, but they didn't. That's still the 30th. So they're closed. Now I looked at Hong Kong. Here's Hong Kong. Right there. Oop. You see it's definitely firm. They did trade it last night. It's definitely firm, and we can see, you know, we're seeing that action in there where they're still buying. The sugar high is there. We feel that, you know, we'll probably see at least 300 points or 250 points, something like that, over on, you know, when they finally do open up Shanghai. Let's see what else is there. I guess we can. No reason to go around the Pacific yet. Let's take a look at. Unless someone wants to see it, we'll come back to it all. And you can see there's that Swiss again, as I was saying, and Swiss is acting, you know, much firmer than the other two. I just think it's more of a flight to safety because of the war situation going on. Then from there you can see the yen. Yen sold down a little bit, and I believe the Tokyo market was up. We'll check that out. But last I saw, it was up last night. Not a lot, just up. And that's good enough. Especially with a new prime minister and promises of becoming much more economically viable again. There's no doubt that Japan has been paying the price for the gain in China. Oop, wrong ones. There. You can see it right there. It was up a little bit yesterday. You do this. I'll right click it and you can see the whole screen. Look at that. Yeah, see that? It jumped up nicely last night. That was a big jump. It closed on Friday at 38,600 basically, and last night it closed at 39,300. That is 1,700 points. That's one heck of a jump. So Nikkei really had a fantastic pop. Let's see how the beta was bouncing around above, below, and above. Let's go back. So when it was in the sell all the way up into here, and it just jacked itself. Now, the only thing that saved us out of all that, again, something always saves us, or most of the time, 9 out of 10 times saves us. That is, we've been in a weekly buy now for 3 weeks. Right there, you can see that. So in other words, we weren't playing. You can't play any shorts because it's been in a weekly buy for 3 weeks. So it was always buy the buy signals, and don't short the sell signals. You can take profits on them, but you can't short them. And that's the combination all the time. And then let's just go back to that daily. You see it jumped into the buy for a while, slid into the sell because of the red, and let me just go back to there, and then you can see on that it went into the buy and then fell into the red and just stayed in that sell. We were wondering at the time. It seemed odd because the new prime minister said they're definitely going to try to raise interest rates. They're trying to get the economy going, start making things move again. Well, they surely did it last night. They just ripped that thing. Let's just show it to you again. Just an enormous explosion up. All right, so from there, that was the yen. Oh, you didn't even see that. Let me show you that again. Let me just show it to you. Sorry about that. I just looked over to the other screens. Too many screens. There it is right there. Check this out. And we'll just show it to you again just real quick. There's that explosion. Excellent. And then I said to you there, it bounced in and out of buys and sells. Full screen right there. You can see it buys and sells, in and out. And then not giving us, the only reason we weren't short for that explosion is this right here. We're in weekly buys. For 3 weeks now. This is the third week in a weekly buy. So that's the way the math goes. All right, now we'll shoot back to the old platform. Let's see, where's that now? So right there. Let's go to the old platform. And you're welcome to ask any questions, guys. If you have it in your head to ask something, be my guest. We'll gladly take a look at your favorite if you care, or just something you're interested in, or just curious, or whatever. There's the Euro Turkish Lira. It's been in that sell for 5 days now, and we're the third week in a sell. We've said the best we've seen over the last couple years is 5 weeks in a sell. We've seen 3 weeks in a sell. We've seen 1 week in a sell. Only 14 weeks out of the last 104 weeks. We've had 90 of them were in the buy. Talk about just marching in one direction. Oof. But here we are. This is a third week. We're hanging out in the low 37 area. It's bouncing along. We made the all-time high. Now it's back in late August where they ran it up into the 40 area, which is really odd and funny. As we were saying that we thought it would make that run possibly in the low 40s, like 41 and a half or 42 or 41 and a quarter. It got up to 40 and change, low 40s, but it got there. And it's trying. We'll see. We're hoping that it would just stall and roll over and go down and help the population of Turkey. I mean, I guess it was the president of Turkey said they could invade Israel. See, that's the geopolitical mess going on. You have people like that not worrying about their population. Instead, they have some other thing going on in their heads. I mean, shouldn't he invade like their central bank, try to straighten it out, and plant a couple Swiss bankers in there to make it work better? I think that would be the better invasion. They're not going to gain anything by trying to invade Israel. Not economically, definitely not. Okay, from the euro, we'll go over to the South African rand. There it is right there. There. And you can see there's the South African rand has been rising. And we've seen gold go sideways down. Let me just show you where we have gold. And you can see it's been in that weekly sell. So overall, it's been trying to tell us that gold has strength in it. With this, when this is going down, when it's gaining against the dollar, it's going down. That's what it does. It goes down. It's gaining against the dollar, making money there, going flat, then gaining against the dollar, and now it's losing a little bit against the dollar. So we expect when we go to look at gold, right there, there it is right there. You can see it's flatlined the same way as the South African rand has. We were in a sell here. It's been nowhere. We're not playing shorts because, again, we're in that weekly buy for a while now. On the spreadsheet, on the old platform, we're looking at gold being 14 weeks in a buy, starting its 15th week. And it doesn't seem to want to change any attitude about that. I guess, between the geopolitics and the inflation. And I mean, we're still bouncing in between the 4s and the 3s. The Fed says one of them they like to follow is it's at 3.9 or 4.1. Then pretty much the rest of them, they have some inflation numbers which they've really cut out. A lot of stuff is in the, in other words, compared to the I guess it's almost like pre-Obama and post-Obama. Before Obama, they had a different inflationary number. And then during the Obama years, they cut out certain things they counted. So when it went to like 10%, 9 point something, 10.1, it was really like 20 some odd percent. And when you look at all the products you go to the stores for, or fuel, or clothing, or food, or buying cars or buying houses, you can see it matches more up to the old inflation numbers. So in other words, we're not seeing a 3% increase in fuel or a 4% increase in housing. We're seeing 50 and 60%, 30, 40%, 100%. We're seeing things like that. So it's a little hard, and unfortunately, money managers usually don't talk too loud about it. Technicians rarely talk about it. I'm probably one of the only ones that still talk about what effect we receive every day about QE. Matter of fact, what did I see? Let me see if I can find this. Let me put the gold up there too so you can see the gold that I'm talking about. I saw somebody make a statement in an article over the weekend saying that China needs to start its QE soon. We showed you last week with the sugar high in China, how they came in and stimulated about 157 billion, 154 billion, or what they say is 1.04 trillion yuan. And let's see if I can find this article. And the article is really interesting. I don't know if I shared it or not. But what caught my eye more than anything else was they were saying, China needs to get a QE. They need to create a QE because right now, um, you know, it's a they have a lot more problems. Uh, you know, I'm looking for that article. I don't see it at the moment, but I thought that was interesting because it's a communist country, so the government is already doing QE. They do it now, so I guess they want a second QE program. Because they don't want to accept the idea that they're communist and already doing a QE. I mean, the government is doing QE. If they could do it any better, they would. And we've shown you what they're doing is just not enough. They need to do like 15, 20 trillion won, not 1.04 trillion. They're way under. They're under performing stimulus and support to the economy. They may just not have the resources. That's what the problem is. In other words, they don't want to. They supposedly, I saw in the article too, there's a lot of unhappy people in China. The population is not happy, and so if they explode the inflation, that's going to be a freak out, and they don't need that. So they can't really come up with a second QE. They already have one that does it. The government there is a communist nation, and they buy. There it is. Goldman traded QE or no QE. That's what. Okay, or no QE. This is the real question. And that's not it. But I'll tell you, the conversation about quantitative easing seems to be almost oblivious. No one talks about it anymore. Only I, because I see the distortion in the math relative to the market's prices. I think the U.S. stock market has a 30-some-odd% haircut. Like I say the same thing about the South African rand. I think it has about a 30-some-odd% haircut. So in other words, when you look at the South African rand, and we see it right there trading around the 117s or 117 and a quarter now, right there, 117.40 as we speak. It's about 33% haircut. I always say 1/3. So in other words, you could just take a third. Divide 17 by 3, which is like 5.7. So you subtract 5 even if it's just 5.6. You subtract that off of 17, and you're talking about in the 12s. You're talking about 11. That's probably where the South African rand should be relative to the price of gold. But we're not seeing that, and that's probably because of their political problems. So we do see more positiveness going on. That's a good thing. They're challenging the 17. But, we still they have issues down there. They're a coalition government, and they're not really doing much at this point. And so that's when I think they finally do pass some good economic policy. We'll see the South African rand lose some of that 1/3 of a haircut. And when it comes to the American market, again, same situation. If we don't get our act together, see, QE right now is holding the market up. It's keeping it firm. It doesn't allow it to drop. So the question is, we come out of this and we starting doing this, fake support and overnight free money for billion-dollar funds, and tell them to just trade their own money, not taxpayer money anymore. We'll could see a 1/3 off of it. I mean, we could see, the market back off, maybe, I don't know, 12,000 points or something of that nature, on the Dow. I don't think it's going to happen in a day. I think it would go slowly and unwind slowly, because I think economic growth is more important than the stimulus that they do. I think that's what it comes down to. So far, no real title has jumped out of my head at the moment. I think I'm, I guess I could say we're talking about the QE because we're talking about QE in China and we're talking about QE here. We're looking at the QE in a sense down in South Africa, the haircut. And I think the American market on one level is overbought. On the second level, if Mr. Trump comes in, we're going to see, you know, we're going to see less. We're going to see a lot better situation. So they're doing something on Saturday Night Live, what they played on Saturday Night Live on the Financial Channel. Cool. Oh my god. All right. Anyway, yeah, it could be a QE statement that maybe we'll label this as a warning about this enormous influence we are receiving from the central banks and the government, and how, again, to just finish this train of thought off and move on, if we increase our growth, which we do every year in the United States, problem is that we spend more than we increase. So if we just stop spending more than we increase and just do it at parity or pay off a little debt, the economy will explode even more in a positive direction and will grow. And that's probably what holds this market up to begin with. And so I guess you could say that could be my title today. It could be literally the fact that growth basically solves all problems. I mean, really. I mean, it could be literally as simple as that. And I hear good economists that I trust that have been very accurate, over the decades, not just weeks and months, but decades. And we're behind the Trump boom, that the economic boom during the Trump years, because they followed those policies, and Trump followed those policies, and they were very profitable. So I think that's really the name of the story now. I really do. I think that's where we're at, and that is that growth solves many problems. It really does. Economic growth solves problems, and that is truly it. And QE is not a QE was supposed to be a stabilizing factor. It was supposed to go on for 2 or 3 years, and then park the bonds and everything in an account, and then let the companies grow, and then as time goes on, they'll be able to retire the bonds, and and there would be no 1930s depression type stuff going on. But instead, what we've seen is that QE now is going on since what year is this now? 2024. It's been going on since end of 2008. This is end of 2024. So it's that's 26 years, 18 years, 16 years, 16 years. Yes, 16 years. 16 years? Yeah. So 8 and let's see. So yeah, 16 years, and it was supposed to go on for 2 years. And that's really what has a lot of us concerned. We want to try to grow out of this and stop spending more than we bring in. That's what it comes down to. All right, that's going to be the title today. So let's go. There's the South African Rand. Let's go take a look at the metals complex, see how they look, because the South African Rand is basically just kind of gaining a little bit. We're probably seeing some strength. You see gold tried to lift today, got up above yesterday's close, and now it's backed off a little bit. Still in a sell, but in a weekly buy. So again, they're not really giving it up. Silver, on the other hand, oh, look at that. Silver is starting to get knocked down out of nowhere. Now, that's a curious thing. It was been strong all morning long, and now it's starting to roll over a little bit. How about that? There. There it is. Okay. And where we go? Okay, I just want to put that title in there. Economic growth stops problems. That's really what it comes down to. Yeah. Economic growth stops problems, and QE only stalls them. That's all it really comes down to. That's the problem. All right, there's silver. Look at that. Silver's starting to press down, which is surprising me because it looked awful strong this morning. And you can see it's just underneath the zero line, but in a long weekly buy too. The silver's, what does it say on the spreadsheet? 7 full weeks now, right underneath gold. You can see gold's 14 on the spreadsheet, and line 13 is 7 full weeks, and this is the 8th week, and it's even higher than there. Now the fast is breaking down quickly, so that does give me a little concern there. All right, and then from there you can see copper, the gold of China. You see that right there? It's just dead sideways. But in a weekly buy for 4 solid weeks, going on a 5th week, and that is line 15. You can see that there, where it's 4. I'll just highlight it there. Like that, right there on the spreadsheet. Let's take a look at platinum. I already saw that. The daily's down and the weekly is still up. There's platinum in January contract, second day in a sell. And you can see there's, that's 4. This is going on a 5th week. That's line 17, right underneath the copper. And we'll watch this. The metals complex kind of just stall. Now you would think, you can see the way oil's ripping, going from 64 and change to 76 and change, right? So $12 in 2.5 weeks. You would wondered or thought, we saw silver doing it. Let's go back to silver, but you can see basically over those same days it's been sideways in platinum. Went up, broke through the 1,000, and has fallen back down below it. When it comes to copper, copper has been rallying for the sugar high. They obviously are front running that thing. It's back in here, and it took off, and now that they're closed, it's sideways. And then they're still closed from last Monday. Monday they were open, and then Tuesday they've been closed since then because of the lunar holiday. From there, you can see silver, to a great extent, sideways but up. And then obviously gold, doing basically the same thing. Found a way to climb up, and then the last couple of weeks just sideways in there. And that is pretty much the metals complex. And let's go now, jump over to the energy sector. Let's do the energy sector on the beta. This way we can see Brent and so forth and compare it to what's going on with, there's Texas, West Texas Intermediate, zipping up. You can see that. It's been in green for a while now, since that, that 64 area. That's what it is, isn't it? Oh no, wait a minute, that's not it. What is that? That was soybeans in January. There it is. Well, that soybean in January has really been roaring. There it is, there from the 12th. Been in a buy with green dots, and then it finally went into a sell in here and sold off a little bit, and now we're back into the buy again for like the last what's that, 5 days, and we're in a weekly buy for. Let's see what that is. Let's make this bigger so we can see it. Almost just missed going into the buy. How about that? It was very close back then. So 3 weeks back. But for this action in here, it's been in a buy. Well, it went into the weekly buy last week, so it really went into the buy in here. And you can see it right there. It jumped through the manifold, which was like Tuesday of last week, and or geez, that's saying when is it? That's September 27th. That's the Friday before. and so it leaped through there going into the Monday. Should be 30 there. There's 30. Let's give this a refresh. Yeah, that's Friday of the week before, and then it's the 30th. Where's the 30th? Oh, okay, it doesn't do it that way. So it just leaped across. So let's make that bigger, see if it'll do it that way. I mean, literally, that's up around the 1.1 area. It was very plus, very quick going into Monday. And, it showed the strength, and, it's been climbing since. It's been climbing since. And this is the crude, Texas crude, U.S. crude. Let's take a look at Brent. Where's Brent? There's right there. And there's the Brent. And it did the same thing on the weekly. It was in the minus, and then going into Monday, it went right into the buy by going through the manifold. And that's usually like a 99% weekly close. It's pretty very, very, very high. So, it was relatively safe to be long in here. Let's see. From there, so we see Texas, we see Brent. Let's go check out. Oh, well, let's do the heating oil. I like watching a product that's used by the whole globe on one level or another. And you can see here, again, same situation. It jumped into the weekly buy last week. And you can see it's been in the buy. Went in here. I guess it's right there. On Thursday of last week, it started to go into the buy. It really started to move. It really looked like it was trying to stay in the sell because it had been in a sell for a long while. And now it's perked its head up also. Then from there, we'll go take a look at natural gas. There it is. That. Yeah, it wasn't a buy, and it's starting to back off, which is interesting. Last, Friday it went into the daily sell. It's been in a weekly buy for, this is the 6th week now. So since the middle of, I guess it was the last week of August, it went into a buy. And there was a nice climb. You can see it right here. Went into the buy in here. Where's it at? Right there. On the 3rd of September. Let's give it a refresh. Yeah, it went into the buy in the 20th of September. 20th? Oh, I see. Back here, there's the 13th. There's the 3rd. So it went into the buy here. To line it up correctly, we just move it over like that. So it matches up. So it went into the buy back on, I guess, August 30th. Right around here. There's September 3rd. There's August 30th. So it went into the buy there and started to play the buy side. We were in a weekly buy, and every buy was a decent buy. They were all good buys. So that's natural gas. And from natural gas, we'll take a look at the Spanish company, see how the stock is doing there this morning, trying to get a flavor of Europe's situation in the energy sector. It's EN, there it is right there. Now that's interesting, is it's been in a sell for 3 weeks, but today we are starting to flirt with the weekly buy right there. It's in daily sells now for 4 days, so it's awful hard to. At this moment, it's you can't take a long here, but if we get into a daily buy and this stays in the plus side, and this goes into a daily buy, you could start to consider it, especially when it breaks the manifold in here. I'll just show you the difference. See, it's reaching for it this morning, but it's not there. It needs to get up into that area there. So, all right, and that is what is that? That's the natural gas company down in Spain. So overall, Europe is not getting punched around too bad. And we'll see. We're hoping that. I mean, we've seen some cold spells. We're not having them here on the East Coast in the United States, but Austria and so forth have had record cold in September. All right, now from there, let's see. We've done the energies. I guess that's it. We've done it all. So we can go and take a look at some of the stock markets. We showed you. China didn't open yet in Singapore. Not Singapore. I'm sorry, Shanghai. And so, but Hong Kong was open. It was a little firmer. And then we have Japan was a rip. I mean, it just tore 1,700 points. It just zoomed. And then we go over to the Kospi. Let's see what they're doing in South Korea and Taiwan. Unless someone wants to see something else, we'll just keep on doing these until someone says, hey, can you show me this? There's the Kospi. It was firm also. And you can see it pushed it into the buy there too. And it's through the manifold. See that? It went from 2,570 to 2,610. It's a big move for that product. And weekly fast is trying to climb up too. It's going after the manifold as we speak. Only wasn't a weekly sell for the 1 week. Then it was in a buy. But then we had like 3 weeks in a sell. Then I think we had 4 weeks. Let's do a refresh on that. Or there's 3 weeks maybe. It's been kind of choppy. I mean, there's been a lot of confusion going on. Let's make this bigger so we can see it. So it closed in a weekly buy back here. So it went back into the buy somewhere in here, I guess it is. That would be the 7th of August. And that was the 8th of August. Oh, no, that's the 16th of August. That's what it is. So it went into the buy in here, towards the top of it. And what was the daily doing back then? Kind of vacillating, fighting it at times. It's been very choppy. Let's take a look at the where is it at? The Singapore Straits Times, the STI. There we are. There it is right there. They're very firm and consistent. They didn't they seem to pick up on that sugar high really quick. That was the unwind in Tokyo. They must have known all this was coming from that action of unwinding the $20 trillion pairs trade. But look at this. This week they're pushing it into the sell a little bit on the weekly. That's the start of the week already like that. Daily buy, weekly sell. So it's a neutral at the moment. And then, let's see, we'll go. Did I do Taiwan? Let's do Taiwan. And there's Taiwan. You can see it was lifting up and trying to push into the buy there. It closed in a daily buy. And we're in a weekly buy for 4 weeks now. So maybe we're going to see some, I guess, tomorrow will be interesting in the sense that I thought it was going to be today, but I think Shanghai opens up tonight. And then I think they close again on Friday. In many ways, I'm sure they'd be happy to just keep it closed for a while. Anything's possible. All right, from there, let's see who else we can see in the Pacific. There's Jakarta. That's been very firm. It's an oil-producing country. I think they do 4 million barrels a day. So you would think that they'd be even stronger, but they're on a downwardly slope. And lots of minuses over here and pluses over here, so it's really trapped. And at the same time, we're in a weekly sell for 3 weeks. So it's sloping down. It's in a daily buy and a weekly sell. So it's not exactly, 3 days ago it went into the daily buy from here, right there. See, and matter of fact, there was your, let's see, what was that? That is the 30th. Let's see. Let's see if we can find the 30th. There's right there. So it pushed it into the sell there. Finally went into the buy there. So it was a loss. It was a loss. And this one was a tough one there, September 20th. It goes into the sell on the 20th and lasts for a couple of days. And it makes a new low the following day, but it doesn't really go anywhere, and you can't do anything but short it at this point. So it's been a very tough trade. It gets into the buy here on a daily buy and a weekly sell, keeping you in neutral. Then it does it here again, and you lose money on it. That one doesn't make a new low, so it doesn't make any money out of it at all. It's a loss. All right, and then from Jakarta, where do we go from? Oh, Nifty 50. Let's see what the Nifty 50 is doing. NESI, where are you? There it is. That's a little curious. That's usually pretty bullish. But you can see there, that thing's been in a weekly sell for a second week. And at the same time, it's, what's that, 5 days now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a sell. And you can see it's sloping down. It's been 5 days in a sell here. And it's been pressuring down. That's what we like about the beta. You can actually get a real close-up look, get a good idea what's going on. Matter of fact, it's been in a minus. It's 6 days now. It's a 6th day. All right. What else we got going on here? That's India. So from India, we ride over to. We're going to try to see if we can get that Saudi Arabian oil stock up on the screen. Where is it at? 22222. It's around here somewhere. 2222. I think it's down below, right there. And it still won't give it to us. I'm not sure what the problem is. I saw it's trading in the $27 area. Let's go to, I think Tel Aviv is open today. Let's see how Tel Aviv is doing. And from there, we'll just go right into Europe. Check out, let's see, where's it at? Not there. There it is right there. Let's see if it'll give us that quote. Yeah, it looks like it pretty much flattened down for the day. It's been in the sell, it looks like, for 3 days. But it's trying to go into the weekly buy. No, it's in the weekly buy for a few weeks here now. So it's another neutral. And you got to imagine, they got war going on, and here it's trading at highs. So these markets are not really doing the fundamental thing. They're doing some type of technical combination. Currency looks very strong. It's still in the 3.7 area. I mean, it's the way the Polish currency is too. Some of these currencies are very solid. They don't move. I mean, they're really good. And then we sit and watch the Turkish lira, and it's like, it's crazy, just all over the place. Let's see what the European stocks are doing real quick here. Let's see, where's the DAX? There's the DAX. Let's see what they're doing with the DAX. Down. It's been pushing down for like a few days now, 4 or 5 days, but it's in a weekly buy. The FTSE. We're going to fly out of this really quick. There's the FTSE. The FTSE in daily buys for a few days in here, and at the same time, 3 weeks in a buy. So this is, these markets are, same thing in the U.S. stock market. The S&P 500 or the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's in the same situation. Where are you, Dow? I know I have diamonds on here somewhere. There's Disney. We should put the futures contract on here. DIA. There's NASDAQ. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. There's the NASDAQ future. And it's up a little bit. And it's been in a weekly buy for, this is the 4th week now. Very tight towards the zero line. We'll see how they play it out going into tomorrow's market. So this is Doc from North America, already with a title. And we will talk to you again tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Talking about it all. So happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, Dukascopy traders.